Hey guys, how's it going? This is Khan, Mr. So Real, and welcome to this week's Good or Garbage. We're going to be taking a look at the new blueprints, the new weapons, the new mods, all of the new stuff that the vendors are selling this week. And I hope you guys with regular credits have got them ready, because this week there are quite a few things that are being sold for regular credits and not necessarily DZ credits that are pretty good. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some good things in the dark zone. There are some pretty nice things out there as well. So why don't we get into this and take a look at what's going on and being sold. Alright, starting off this week's Good or Garbage, we're at the Special Blueprints vendor as usual, and this week we have the MP7 blueprint, the Surplus SVD blueprint, the firearms knee pads, a holster, the heavy magazine spring, the quick release magazine blueprint, the firearms gear mod, and the electronics gear mod. So if you're looking to bump up your electronics, the gear mods are now on sale. You can pick that up. The firearms will also help you out. That is also on sale, and some of these other things are on sale as well. I'm not really sure if the MP7 was on sale before. I don't remember it, but I kind of do, which sounds strange. Where's that MP5? I know a lot of people on PlayStation, myself included, are asking where the hell is that Navy MP5, but alas, here we have the MP7, so do with that as you will. Let's see what other stuff is on sale. Alright, now over at the special equipment vendor, we have the Historian on sale. The headshot damage is a bit low. The talents are Unforgiving, Proficient, and History Repeats. The Cassidy is on sale. It has Competent, it has Responsive, and it has Boomstick. Out of all of the exotic weapons, I would say because of the talents, this is probably the #1 recommendation. The rest of them are not that great. The Pacon is also on sale with Self-Preserved, Adept, excuse me, and Pacon. We also have the Liberator with Unforgiving, Commanding, and Meticulous. We have the Centurion with Intense, and that pretty much is it for the exotic weapons. Now moving on to the regular weapons. Honestly, there's nothing here that I would really recommend except for maybe the G36. The base damage on it is okay. The G36s usually do more damage on paper in terms of numbers than, let's say, an M4, but my M4 that I have has the same damage numbers. This M4 is at the end of the spectrum. This is as high as it's going to get, whereas the G36 probably should be around 22 to 22.1 or 22.2. So since it's a little bit less, that kind of makes me feel like it's all right, but the talents on it are okay. Responsive is not too bad. If you like Focus, then that could work for you, and then maybe you can roll off Ferocious if you don't like that. Now moving on to some of the other weapons, the SASG, this one is not that great. The First Wave M1A has pretty decent base damage. The headshot damage is all right at 167, but the talents on it are not that great. The other recommendation, if you like the RPK 74, has some pretty good talents on it with Competent, Vicious, and Adept. You can get those two and then probably roll off Vicious, maybe go for something else. I'd say probably Deadly would be a good pick. And then we get to the masks. The masks, pretty much all of the masks suck. I'm not a fan of any of these masks. The chest piece, this robust chest piece has some decent numbers on it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have health, and it doesn't have ammo capacity, so I'm not a huge fan of that. The Predator's Mark chest piece does have health. It has enemy armor damage if you need that, but it is spec'd into stamina, and again, it does not have ammo capacity, so that is kind of a bummer. The bags that they have for sale, we have Technical, not a huge fan of that. The Striker's bag, which has stability, not a fan of that. The Sentry bag has a nice piece of skill power, some respectable firearms, and it has ammo capacity. So out of all of the bags, I would say this is probably one of the best ones. The downside to this is that the armor is not that great at 1173. Now moving on to the Alpha Bridge back, we have a pretty okay amount of health on it at 12,926. The electronics is all right. It's not not really that good actually. And then we have bleed resistance and not ammo. I know some people like bleed resistance instead, or flame resistance, but personally I like to have my bullets on me, and that's just me. But yeah, if you feel like this is a good bag and it works for you, then go for it. But you will have to re-roll the electronics because I think it's a bit low. Now moving on to the knee pads. These prosperous knee pads are not that bad. 1258 for the firearms. Skill power is at a respectable 13,120. It could be better, but it is what it is. So got burn resistance, and that's about it. The rest of that stuff is kind of trash. We got some Firecrest knee pads. Okay, skill power. It's got bleed resistance, shock resistance. You're gonna have to do something about the stamina roll on it. And the best out of the three are the Deadeye knees. For a Deadeye build with crit hit damage, 8%, pretty good. Bleed resistance, burn resistance, that's pretty good. And then you got 1257 for stamina. And then the armor on it is 1525, so it's not too bad. Now for the holsters, they pretty much all suck. There's nothing here that I would even come close to recommending. Decisive gloves, if you like running decisive. I know I got, excuse me. Decisive gloves, I know that some people like running decisive, so if you want to go for that, then there you go with SMG and pistol. Then you have the defense gloves with shotgun for some strange reason. I don't know why. That's kind of a pass. Then you have some electronics mods. The skill power is good, but to spend 192 Phoenix credits for this, I would say is a no-go. Getting onto something I don't talk about very often, the high velocity magazine. This is not a bad roll. Actually, I would say this is probably God tier for the high velocity magazine. Now, why do I say that? Is because it has 6.5 crit hit chance, 4.5 reload speed, 4% crit hit damage, and this is not used for. I would say you don't want to use these for ARs or for SMGs unless you're talking about the PP19, because the magazine on the PP19 is amazingly large as it is, so having more crit chance and more crit damage could be useful for that. LMGs with larger clips could also benefit from a magazine like this. So if you have a 100-round LMG, that might work out for you. And some of the bolt actions could work out for this depending on how much damage they do, but you'll just have to figure that out. The semi-auto sniper rifles definitely would not benefit from this. This could also help out a shotgun if you have one of those as well. So if you're trying to get more damage straight out of the box and you're not really worried that much about having a lot of bullets to put down range, i.e. assault rifles, then this could work for other types of weapons that already have natively large clips or do heavy damage and you want to increase that heavy damage right off the bat. So that's something to keep in mind if you ever run into a really good high velocity magazine or you want to pick one up. Now the Omega rifle suppressor is kind of trash. This angle grip is garbage, and this headshot, the red dot sight with headshot damage is a pass. So let's see what other things are going on upstairs. I know there's a better submachine gun upstairs than the one that's being sold this week, which is why I didn't recommend it. So why don't we go and take a look at that. Okay, at the advanced weaponry vendor, we have a P4 Storm pistol with harmful on it. So if you need that for that utility, there you go. Now there are a couple weapons here that are worth mentioning. Here we have the AUG. And this one has higher base damage than the one downstairs, the same amount of crit chance. It comes with commanding, brutal, and responsive. So if you want that, then there you go. It only costs you regular credits. The ACR is not that great. It comes with predatory, dominant, and deadly. The military M870, on the other hand, comes with a nice little bit of stagger. 313 is not the greatest, but the base damage on it isn't that bad. And the talents are okay with deadly, predatory, and responsive. We have the Model 700, not that great. Headshot damage is okay, but the talents are kind of poo-poo. We've got a cool-headed, vicious, and elevated. Then we have the RPK 74. The target damage when you're out of cover at 14% is not too bad. The talents are brutal, deadly, and commanding. I still think that LMGs need a bit of a buff in terms of their base damage. They're much higher caliber rounds, but they still don't do as much damage as an assault rifle. I just don't understand that, but Hopefully something like that can be addressed in future patches for the game, but right now I like LMGs. I love using them. You feel really Rambo when you shoot a whole bunch of rounds, but they just don't do as much damage as I'd like. The extended magazine, if you don't have anything better than this, then you probably should go and pick it up. Crit damage, rate of fire, and unfortunately 109.5. The muzzle brake with stability, crit chance, optimal range. The hand stop, I'm not even going to talk about that. The rugged mini reflex, crit chance is nice, headshot is nice, but optimal range kind of screws it up. If it had critical damage, then it might work out for certain weapons, but as it stands, it's not that great. So let's see what other things are in the base of operations. All right, now I'm just throwing this out, even though I know that the state of the game video that I posted for this week, in the comments we had some discussion about seeker mines and how they're a little bit OP at the moment. So just as a shout out, here you go. Seeker mine explosion radius 7.5. You can go pick that up. So expect to get blowed up in Last Stand from even greater distances. You really can't run now. Yeah, so I just thought I'd throw that out there for the people who do roll the rolly ball, and if you do like seeker mines, then there you go. Happy day for you. But for the rest of us, yeah, massive hurry up and do something about these damn rolly balls. All right, over in Dante's Run, there is a pretty nice mod that is being sold. We have a stamina mod with 261 stamina plus 3,192 skill power. So if you want to buff your stamina by a little bit, or if you need it just to kind of get your probably responsive, if you're running a high electronics, high firearms build and you have responsive, you probably need maybe at least one mod of stamina. So here you go. This is a pretty good one to have, and it comes with some nice skill power on top of it. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. All right, now over in the cavern, a couple things to take a look at. We have a specialized backpack. The armor on it is not that great, but it does come with health at 13,225. The firearms only at 1209. This would be something you may want to bring into Last Stand. Burn resistance is up there, so you know that rolly balls and flame turrets are dominating right now, so that could help you out. And again, to help you out even more, if you're having problems with rolly balls, you have a 261 electronics, plus you have 2.5 exotic damage resilience mod. You can throw that on to save yourself some burn and all that other stuff and stay alive a little longer if you're having trouble with things like that. So just putting it out there if you need it. All right, now in Madison Stand, this may not be for everyone, but just again another thought to throw out. We have a rehabilitated mask with a really nice respectable chunk of skill power on it at 9,893. Increased kill XP is kind of meh, but with rehabilitated you get 2% heals while you're in status effect. And again, going back to countering certain things that trigger status effect like flame turrets and rolly balls, you can get some health back from getting set on fire and stuff like that. Now if you get blown up instantly, it's not really going to help you, but this could help you out for certain incursions and things like that. So if you need that for those kinds of activities, then this may work out for you. You'll need to re-roll the stamina into something a bit higher, as 1234 is a bit low. All right, now over in Southpaw, we've got something for you skill hasters. We've got a nice little stamina mod with 256 stamina and 3% skill haste. So if you're looking for something with stamina skill haste, then there you go. All right, now over in the firewalls, a couple of things that might help out some newer agents. We have a gunslinger vest with reckless. The armor on it is pretty nice at 1931. The stamina is a bit low. I would definitely re-roll that. 4% all resist, 15,809 health, and it comes with ammo capacity. So this is not too bad in my book. Not the greatest, but it ain't that bad. Then we have a firearms mod that has 246 firearms and skill power at 3,124. Now the firearms is not that high, but that skill power is worth mentioning in case you're trying to go with more skill power. This could help you out. So if you need it, there you go. All right, now over in the crypt, just as a shout out for the people who are looking for something like this, we have a loud vent break with 18% critical hit damage, 6% headshot damage. Optimal range is but it does come with increased threat, so kind of keep that in mind if you are running this with an SMG. You will have more enemies on you, but 18% is a pretty nice number. It gets up to 19, I believe. So it's just 1 point shy of the max for critical hit damage on a muzzle. All right, let's see what other things are going on this week. All right, now in East 46th Street, it would only be fair for the Rollerball users to talk about the Seeker Mine Damage 3.5 mod that's being sold in the Dark Zone. If you want to do even more damage and make sure that you one-shot people with that Rollerball, then there you go. There it is. That should help you out a lot, especially if you buy a whole bunch of them and stack it. There's a prototype firearms mod with 261 firearms and 2% all resist, so kind of keep that in mind. That's also up there as well. All right, now in East 61st Street, we talked about the muzzle that was being sold for regular credits, now one for DZ credits. This one is 17% crit hit damage, and I know it's less than the one we talked about, but it's on the opposite end of the spectrum because this one has 42% reduced threat. So where someone may have the other muzzle and they would, if you're fighting amongst NPCs, if they start shooting, the NPCs will go looking for them. Whereas if you have the reduced threat version, you'll do 1% less critical hit damage, but the NPCs won't be looking at you. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you are thinking about having an extra squishy build, then maybe having reduced threat is a better option for you. All right, now over in East 58th Street, I feel like I'm going to every vendor and talking about something nice at all of them, but they've got some pretty decent stuff. For some maybe beginner agents, we have a Gunslinger's Vest, 1265 electronics, comes with Reckless, 6% skill haste, and it comes with 48% ammo capacity. All resist is a thing. You may want to roll that off and maybe go for health or electronics, depending on what you want. The armor on it is a bit low, so do kind of worry about that. Yeah, that is a thing. The specialized bag is also being sold with 1270 firearms, comes with 751 health, and this one also comes with ammo capacity. So this is a pretty nice bag straight out of the box. The armor on it is a bit low as well. The knee pads, so even got knee pads that are not that bad. 1666, we got some devil knee pads, plus we've got skill power on them. They come with shock resistance, damage to elites, and bleed resistance. The only thing these were missing was fire resistance. Too bad they don't have those, but you're gonna have to do something with those electronics because they're a bit low. The other stuff is not that great. If you are running an LMG, you could look at these Savage gloves. They come with crit hit damage, crit chance. They do have a little bit of LMG damage on them. And you will have to re-roll the electronics on it. That is a bit low, but overall it's got some pretty nice stuff at this vendor, so if you need this kind of stuff, check it out. All right, now over in Park Avenue, we have I would say this is probably god tier burst fire MP5. It's got 22.5 crit hit chance, 22.7 base damage. It comes with commanding, adept, and competent. So even, yeah, this is pretty nasty. Real talk, if you don't have one of these, you may want to pick one up. Roll off commanding, put deadly on that bitch, and get to burst firing to your heart's content and dropping people. If you have enough skill power and you learn how to stack your adept, I talked about that in my stream yesterday, and I gave an example of that. If you learn how to get that with some good skill haste, then you'll be a beast in Last Stand and maybe even in the Dark Zone. So be on the lookout for this. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be running this thing this weekend, so kind of watch it. The base damage could be a bit higher, but this is still a very, very good roll. This is probably my recommendation. I haven't seen anything better than this, but this will probably be my recommendation for this week, unless we find something else that is utterly amazing. Let's go look. Let's see if we find anything better than this. Okay, in West 31st Street, for the people looking for extended magazines, we have one that's pretty decent at 110.5 magazine size, 3% crit chance, and 4% crit damage. If you don't have anything better than this, you got some Dark Zone credits, and you need one of these, then go for it. There you go. Pick it up. Okay, over in DZ3, we have a G36C being sold. Base damage is about 21.4. With this character, you have Fierce, Brutal, and Focus. So this isn't a bad one. If you're trying to get away from the SMG M4 meta and you want to try something different, then this G36 might be something that could work out for you. Just give it a try if you're interested. If not, then hey, you know, it is what it is. There it is. So let's see if there's anything else going on in the dark zone. Alright guys, up in DZ8, there's a little something I've been wanting to talk about. It's the inventive bag. Now this inventive bag increases skill power by 15% when you're at full health. Now I know a lot of people run the specialized bag, myself included, but I did want to give a shout out to the inventive bag, because if you're not running very high firearms and very high stamina, then the inventive bag could be a better option for you, because specialized, you need stamina and you need firearms to make it work. If you're running a healer build or a very electronics heavy build, this may be something you want to look into. Now this bag comes with 12,126 health. It comes with bleed resistance. The armor on it is okay at 1235. And the electronics are at 1231, so you'll probably want to re-roll that. But if you ever run into an inventive bag, or maybe you have one, give it a try and see what it does for your overall build, and see how fast your skills come back. And if you can stay with maybe a vigorous chest piece to give yourself an overheal, then you'll be at full health during that section, so you'll have 15% more skill power. So it might work out in your benefit. Now another thing that's being sold this week are the gunslinger gloves. These are some savage gloves. If you're a marksman, then they have skill haste, they have enemy armor damage, and they have marksman damage. If you don't want to run marksman, but you do run electronics, at 1269 electronics, you can just run off with whatever you want. If you are running with the sniper, then you could take off enemy armor, maybe go for something crit related, or whatever. Even if you don't want that, you could probably change marksman to whatever weapon you like, and these would be some pretty good gloves for an electronics build. Alright, now let's go to DZ9 and see if there's anything up there. If there isn't, then we are out of here. Alright guys, up in DZ9 for the crit grippers, we've got a 19% crit grip, crit damage grip, with optimal range at 4.5, stability at 2.5, and we also have a rugged mini reflex sight with 7.5 crit hit chance, 5.5 crit headshot damage, and 2.5 stability. So we have the grip that gives you crit damage, and we have a sight that gives you crit chance. If you're looking for that to throw on probably your SMGs, then there you go. Both of these should work out pretty well. And on that note, that is it for this week's good or garbage. We had a lot of stuff being sold around the base, so the people who were having troubles getting stuff from the DZ because they didn't have the DZ credits, I think now can rejoice. There are quite a few good things being sold around the other vendors, so hope you guys get something good. Leave a comment in the comment section and let me know, what did you guys pick up this week? What is it that you guys might be looking for? Did you learn anything new from this video? If you did, remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. I do this every week. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to catch me on Twitch as I stream the Division on Twitch. I post videos on YouTube as well, but I'm trying to do a lot more stuff with Twitch and trying to get my subscriber count up. So if you have Twitch and you like my stuff, why don't you go and hit me a subscribe on Twitch and say hello. We will be streaming, stream team, myself, and sometimes Cracker Jacks and Trench and the rest of the boys. So yeah, just say hello, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.